Stick here once again. The video, I don't know what to say, but this one is a difficult topic, and I think it's time that we guys discuss it. It's the Scorpio moon and the emotional karma. Some of you out there know that the Scorpio moon comes with its own scar very early in childhood. Each one of us have their taste of it. Each one of us have their own storyline, but at the end of the day, we all have a scar. It's like we can't run away from it. Some people say that it's an emotional karma that we have. I don't know how I can explain this. Why are we the chosen one to carry such burden? So deep, so old, so young. Okay, I'm gonna go and read an article that speaks about this topic, and we're gonna discuss it together. If you notice that I am not comfortable with the topic, but I am summoning all my courage so that we can open this up and grow finally. A lot of us are stuck in there for a very long time, and given the secretive and the cunning way of hiding it, because it's so deep in there, and you know what I mean, a lot of us move through the motions, and our most intimate people in our lives have no idea how much we are in pain. And that pain kind of is camouflaged and hard to explain because it kind of does not have sometimes a physical trigger or physical anchor, like a real fact or experience. It just is. And our brains start to go into a weird freezing mode of searching for a rationale or an imaginative storyline in order to suffice the question, why are you feeling this way? Why are you in such pain? Given that relatively everything's fine. Anyways, I'm gonna take my laptop now. Okay. And I'm going to read, I chose an article from Michelle Knight. I like that lady. MichelleKnight.com. And she said, the moon and your emotional karma. Okay. So let's go to moon in Scorpio directly. It's a very short paragraph. Let's read it. Sizzling moon in Scorpio people are intense and secretive. That's very true. Don't expect instant intimacy, as they won't reveal themselves totally unless they trust you. That's very, very true. I call it hiding in plain sight. Since we can't hide anymore in this modern age, we are very good at hiding in plain sight. And you know what I mean. They have a deep-rooted fear of losing control, and so can avoid intimacy unless they are deeply in love. That's true. I am a great believer of abstinence. Not only in other sense, total abstinence, especially emotional abstinence. I do believe in emotional fasting. If you guys want to know more about that, then I think I should make a video next time. Emotional fasting. Anyhow, often moon in Scorpio can get obsessive and refuse to let go of an idea of love. Yeah, this comes in different format. Not only love for a person, but love for a ideology, love of a dream, love of a fantasy. And sometimes letting that go is painful. Not sometimes, most of the time. I'm a victim of that too. I'm guilty of it. Moon in Scorpio often had a difficulty or challenging relationship with their mother, and there may have been trust issues. That's true. Me and my mom at the early time, not now, but before when I was younger, I had a challenging relationship with her. I was very intuitive, secretive, and intense in my own way, and I was also kind of mm, like independent thinker, very young age, and I do criticize. I had that critical thinking going on, the investigative Scorpio, as you know. So I do investigate anything they say. So if they order me to do something, I always ask why, or if something it's supposed to be done because of tradition or religious incline, I will always ask why and how and all that. And it really made the relationship between my mom and I very sour, and it was very, very, very bitter and sour during my teenage years, when my intense emotions that were bottled up for years, and I got very angry, and I was angry at the world. And since she is the most intimate person I had by that time, she was taking on the fire, and she was really suffering with me. Thank goodness we're out of that phase. Thanks gosh we are. So what she said is, there are some problem with trust issues, or the mother died in their childhood. The childhood trauma, that's the case. It's either the mother is not there, the mother actually is literally gone, or the mother and the kid had some clashes because of misunderstanding. My mom is an air sign, so imagine an air sign mother and a watery, freaking water Scorpio kid. And she was very intellectual and very fact driven and physical world driven. She has see it to believe it. Basically, that's the mantra that she has. She's an Aquarius, so imagine how it is. And I was not see it to believe it. I needed more explanation of why I should do something. So that was a problem. So the relationship with the mother is always intense. Yes, it is very intense, because I always had to regulate my language in order to understand her. And she sometimes gets frustrated with the way I am, being very dreamy, strategic in a sense, not quite active physically. I'm not active physically. That means, well, just taking the stairs, I get lazy, and she didn't like that. She wanted me to move. She wanted me to be prompt and alive in the physical realm, and I had a deep problem with that, because I do have my own inner world that I enjoy very much. So that's Moon in Scorpios are old souls who were probably very wise, instinctive, and aware in childhood. Yes, when I was a child, I was, as my grandma, rest in peace, said, I was very what do you call that? Observant and vigilant. I was observant and vigilant, and I do take in the current format of the situation. It's like I take snapshots of pictures in my head, and that makes me navigate the world and avoid threats and harms. So they noticed one time at a wedding, I was 3 years old. That's what they said. I was 3 years old, and I was they told me to play with, like, I was a toddler, so they told me to play with the kids who were my age-ish. Instead, I look at them, that's what they said, I look at them and I knew that they're playing in an abrupt way. I didn't like it, apparently. So I didn't want also to be at a place where a lot of people will disturb me by, saying, oh, cute, and all that, kissing and all that stuff. So they said, I basically stood there, scanned the whole wedding room, the party room, and I went and sat at the bride's chair, because I knew no one will mess with that chair. And I was just 3 years old. They told me that. My grandma told me, she told me multiple times, and my mom also did discuss, it's like, you were too young to think that way, but you did. You solved your problem by, and you actually did what you wanted, which is not to be disturbed by toddlers your age and by adults who will keep, pinching your cheeks, and you didn't want that. So you went exactly where no one would dare to disturb you. Oh well. So I think that's a sign of moon in Scorpio. I didn't know I was a moon Scorpio until late. So that was a sign. That was a sign that there was some instinct and awareness at a very young age. So if you have children, you notice a kid who kind of look like an old soul. Take care of that kid. Seriously, don't behave or don't anticipate that he's just a child. He doesn't know. No, no, no. They do observe. So the positive is they're deep, psychic, they're sensual, they're intense. And the shadow side is possessive, paranoid, and faithful and obsessive. And I should put here revengeful. That's a very important word that is lacking here. Revengeful. There's a lot of revenge, especially in the first layer of the Scorpio, which is the Scorpion. Oh well, until next time.